Good gray array liaised. Mind may be game. Radio, science, brain is its own meaning. It is a collage. It is a song poem. It doesn't stop. It was already going when I found it, I think. Or maybe I gave birth to it. But in any case, I first remember finding it in 2011. And I realized to find out what the words were, I would need to find them. In real time, I'd need to find them by discovering them. And so I started recording myself and soon realized as I improvised lyrics that this was a piece that needed to have improvisation as the default. Relying on things that I've found before, and yet that radio science brain as a song or game or poem or space of meditation or nebula from which other compositions and ideas emerge, whatever it is, that it's part of me or part of play for me, or maybe for anyone, that we all have ways to find flow. And for me, as an autist who's hyperlexic, who's very into language and thinking out how words mean together, radio science brain as a 3-word particle came to me and in repetition seemed like something, or like the simple combination of these 3 words suggests something about evolution and possibility and humanity. And I typically find there are some things that repeat a lot, similar refrains. A lot of things people will notice if they hear it more than once, probably. But sometimes it's very full of new paths of discovery, and it's supposed to be. And frankly, I would want to hear what else came from a song of any of the artists that I care about. I would want to hear other versions. I would want to hear them keep exploring if they wanted to. How many kinds of music are there supposed to be, and where are we supposed to stop looking? Are we always supposed to do the same thing? Do we know what music is? Do we know what music isn't? Do we know what music is so much that we know what music isn't? Mystery. Font. It is Tim at the Mystery Font, and lately it's a lot of very sober approach because we are experiencing a coup, a self-coup by Nazi, white, supremacist, patriarchal terrorists working to gut our country to mint trillionaires with coercion over all of us. It's massive crime. So these are the things that sometimes also rush in to radio science brain because they are in the way. Not with the way. They're in the way of humanity moving forward together peacefully. And I would just like to say that I don't think it's responsible to let people threaten one another. I don't think it's responsible to let someone wave a weapon around in the street. So when I think about the intense, menacing malice of Stephen Miller, for instance, we've stepped into a spectrum of one who we should regard as crying out with all of his might for help. In his shrieking Hitler speak and damnable scapegoating that killed an 11-year-old girl this week. Certainly more than one person, but drove an 11-year-old to suicide. The epidemic that is Stephen Miller is a human being showing a distinct cry for help. While he asks for enabling, he asks even more loudly for help, and we have the technology. Deprogramming is available. And at a minimum, therapy with people who understand white nationalist extremism and death cults, and certainly people who have an understanding, a working understanding of the kind of power he has wielded up until the time that he resigns at any minute now, due to sheer exhaustion, having drilled himself into being an evil member of our species. It will eventually buckle him. He will buckle. M will buckle. It's as important that we keep an M somewhere on Stephen's person so that we can know where demurder is at all times. It's as important for his safety as for ours. Mostly just that we need to stop ignoring this intense cry for help from, while he is an abominable, depraved, misogynist Nazi, he's a person and he's a member of human family. So we need to hold him accountable rather than letting his terrorism continue. He has tried to magnify very isolated events that are much more common per capita amongst American citizens than immigrants as a way to cast there being some kind of massive wave. He is a hoax con artist. He is an artist of hoaxes, a hoax artist. He was Donald's Steele campaign in 2020. He is the language of Hitler. Most of the time that it comes into Donald's mouth, it's coming from Stephen Miller. So these are the sorts of figures who sometimes can obscure the view of whatever is in view of past, present, or future. And if we want to go somewhere together safely, we have to help Stephen Miller to safety so that he is no longer a danger to himself and others, because he's out of control. He's been out of control for a long time, but there's a little difference between, the only difference between giving Stephen Miller basically identical control to, more or less, to Elon Musk, the kind of reign. The only difference between the two of them, well, there are quite a few, but maybe the most significant is that Stephen Miller is quite smart, and I think he has incredible passion to work hard and fast, and definitely with murderous ruthlessness. He has alacrity and an interest in hurting as many people as possible. While Elon Musk certainly relishes that, but at least is not, he may not be as smart, or at least as able to mask as Stephen Miller often is able to mask. Not always. But these are people who need help, not enabling. We need to recognize that Stephen Miller and Elon Musk and Russ Vogt, these are abominable people who do need help from mental health professionals. These are terrible, horrific human beings who relish the idea of creating trauma and torture, and they are white supremacists. They're white supremacist patriarchal terrorists. And they're working as well to keep us from stewarding our habitat. While we look at climate collapse, it's good to have some of the names and faces of people attempting to control levels of power to sow truly satanic separation and striation between classes. These people want to do the work of certainly something worthy of the name devil. Who knows how many of these Christian nationalists believe in Christ at all? Who knows how many of them recognize that they're worshiping a Christ that stands diametrically opposed to what little we seem to know, at least what it says in the Bible from Jesus would say. Jesus never spoke of abortion. Jesus was friends, was close, was family with sex workers, with people who were outcasts in various ways, and who said, the meek shall inherit the earth, who said that the most disenfranchised and lowly and downtrodden are the ones we must lift up the most, or who are the holiest among us, or must be treated as such, and all of that. These are Nazis who betray the words they say they live up to. They bend words into slang weapons. Like the one time you really got seduced into attacking a best friend early in school, and you got the taste for when a word becomes something else. Like scuzz suddenly means, oh, you just got faced, idiot. You're just a loser, scuzz. And you're like, whoa. A word can be like a weapon, and I can belong to a gang with a word weapon. Holy cow. And some people don't ever want to get off that roller coaster. They don't ever want to get off the roller coaster of terrorism can be a part of daily life. Russ Vought is a terrorist. I would imagine he would avow himself as one. But whatever the case of that, these are predators who we have allowed into positions of power, and at least in the case of Elon Musk, who we have simply not stopped. In any case, these are the sorts of people, potentially, or situations, pardon me, things that come to mind when we see effects that only happen in war happen in so-called peacetime. Schools don't crumble, and disenfranchisement of all the disabled kids in a school or in a school district, or the removal of women's sports because that's how they're actually going to get men out of women's sports, is to just stop women's sports, because there goes Title IX. Goodbye, Department of Education and everything that goes with that. They're here to hurt people. It's part of how Trump values any deal. And Project 2025 was written for his ass cheeks. So in any case, just as a mindfulness about where we are, I may find myself in this particular pass through RSB, through Radio Science Brain. I may find myself morose or sad or wistful at best, if not outright hopeless or depressed. But typically, I do find hope and foster it and work to foster hope and search for what in this field of ideas, of what comes to mind through and within, and as Radio Science Brain, I see what is. And as at. From a dot to a sphere through universal atmospheres. It's a spherical wavefront here, and on point to through all wavefront spherical gear, I mirror and I reappear, I open and I unfold fear. Radio sign here, here. If you have a way to play, it's good. Be not pray, be play. If you need to hop and it looks funny, to find that Joplin beat and get runny. If you need to try new sounds that don't sound soundy, or have not yet found what found's finding roundly, be nature your creature would aim to ape, and know that shape will unshape. It's aping. You are the management. Undraping. If it's mentionable, it's manageable, they said, they say. I believe. This is about to be Radio Science Brain. date is Tuesday, February 19th, 2025, 3:33 a.m. Good radio science brain to you. Who knows?
Ascension, kindness, we deliver freight, imagination ain't what the creature creates, the management was mentioned. This is the mentionary, the statuette, this is the mindless raving about pollinates. We are a pollination, pollen grabbing this net, imagination wreck your appetite to get into a mess. Imagination-ness, imagination-ness, imagination-ness. This is the mind that's made kindness come today proclaim. Radio science brain, radio science brain, radio science brain. The mind made this aim. I have a cold, but I'll make a sound with this voice. I know it's not quite like I know it, but it's open and it comes out. What I say, I know the words, what they mean rings out. Proclaim some way, wax from way, play the game. Play your name like a genius, relate it to you today. Because you did, you choose, you curate from your intersection. You are one intersection of kind, come be named the one dissension. Radio science brain, the mind made this, the mind made this age. Imagination aim, imagination aim. Radio science brain, we can wake wax from Wayne any day. Amelioration, pay forward, make more or less words so your words are heard. Nature, prenate today, prenate today, be born, renaissance, say, awakening. Proclaim mindness made this way. You chose your shape, you choose how it ameliorates. The nature aims, the brain relays the aims, mind make us say. You are the radiation of love's imagination. Radio science brain, and following your mind come. today. Be one, be wax from wane, be pollen's aim, be nature, your nature names. Relate today. Radio science brain, radio science brain, radio science brain, radio science brain. Relate. We can wake wax from wane, we can wake wax from wane. Ameliorate, come came, became today. Pretend that come came, pretend that came just comes today. Pretend that come just came. Radio science claim this, imagine it wakes not vain. You are the medicine, you are the permission, you are the science. Some of it. You are the gift, you are not grift, you have the lift, you are the mindness nift. He lost, it's up to upping only by us. It is only just us. Words can be said and broken and corrupted, but justice and just us can find themselves again. If maybe not the same frame, but league comes like league once came. Superman and Batman still hold the same radio science brain.
Good gray. This is the mystery font. That was one example of what happens when I start doodling, with meaning oodling through this piece. It's not always the same backing track. Sometimes I just do it a cappella or play an instrument along with. Or it's a different recording. But as we continue to pilot through massive distortions in the field of reality, I find it's helpful to make sure that we're not only being taken by others in and out of doorways of perception, that as shocking boundary violations can cuss and other crimes and strange rhymes confound us, that we are piloting our own mind and that we can apprehend what's happening around us as what's happening around us and find ways to actually develop meditation and mindfulness that fosters safety, that lets us dial in to be safer and have more access to our own imagination, to our own creativity, to our own memory, to the scope of our brain rather than to what is almost just partially glimpsable in fight or flight, in trigger space. Fight or flight or free or fly or fawn or feign or flounder or fetch or fray. Well, there's another way. We can foster executive function. And flow is one way. And again, as I've been really focused on avoiding particular spikes that are coming toward us, let's also forward us toward us. The hair-raising schemes of far-right extremists keep coming, and they may move fast, but the tortoise, moving towards ourselves, moving toward us, may move slowly, but slow and steady wins the race, gentle tortoise. Or wins for the human race, let's say. Sweet, gentle tortoise. Tortoise. Time and relative dimension in space, or under space. So the question would be, was that simply a warm-up? And do I end right now, this stream, or what is it? Admittedly, it's typically stream length, also mostly down to improvisation. And then I usually, if I start, say, a backing track, I'll finish it. There are some parameters like that kind of hold. But most important, I think, while I enjoy finding things, and I find things that do accrue and become a part of the ongoing piece, they don't just appear once, or they become something else, or maybe something that's not even related to music, but it's finding flow as well. And having a way to do that with words and at a speed that that works, that accesses something there we go. The one that accesses and scratches an itch, I guess. Or it works with the kind of exploration that I want to do. At any rate, we all think differently, and whether or not you identify or are diagnosed as divergent, there is diversity in what we all find and how we find it. And it's not all about what we are said to be born with. But in any case, there have been many very out of tune and annoying, I'm sure, to anyone nearby, recitations, let's say, of this improvisational found poem song thing. And I suppose there is some measure of getting a little better with intonation, even if it's very pedestrian in how I'm singing, especially if I'm warming up or sick or tired or whatever. But part of it is that it is supposed to just be not manicured and not that I want it to sound like a human voice talking and singing and not trying to sound beautiful so much. or ultra polished and professional. I guess for me, that carries a lot of suggestion of trauma and exclusion. And so I'd rather sound like Kermit the Frog or Mr. Rogers or Luke Skywalker or, Christopher Reeve than much else. I guess I'm just grabbing male examples in terms of my voice range and all that, but we all bring ourself. It's crazy to think how few people actually probably journal anymore. And part of this is that this is a journal. The piece itself is a particular journal. It's a journalistic effort, in fact. It's an artistic journalistic effort. Because it charts through a certain lens all of the meditations through this field of ideas. Through this germ that started with radio science brain and became rodeo science braille and became radiant sentient braid and became roguish ameliorant raid and kept flowering. It made me say, oh, this just keeps showering. This is just rain. It keeps going. And so, from a speck to a sphere, through multiverse atmospheres, this is the mindness near, across, and yet now just here. The crack of the bat, it's happening when it's caught. The same exact moment snap. It's cracked, it's clapped. When it's cracked by the bat, it's clapped. In your glove, impact. It's the same instant, like light, constant, or close, more habit. I found. Efont. Memory. Elephant.
Mindness courageous. This is kind of eye from the omnibus. Mind thus be made today. Not nay like no, but nay like may, some like birth away. heart without hurting anyone. In fact, it will feel right people as well. Please be smart. Slavery's not good for any human heart. Now start imagination's art. This nature part is yours to create and be. The carp, laugh at farts, be the nature you'll impart. Be light. Be part of the force, at one with. Because we're experiencing massive distortions in the field of reality, it's not only good to get out for a good, proper run, not just a little sprint, but also with all the things that are going on, keeping up a practice like journaling, or in this case, improvisational, artistic song journaling, thinking, something. Well, it's just going to vary, and especially at a time of incredible torpor and torture. And especially the things that maybe don't seem to move something forward, except happiness or ease or care. Well, these are part of self-care too. Play and having time, like where Michael Phelps gets to just enjoy being in the water. The only way to enjoy water as Michael Phelps, I would hope, is not to be going as fast as he can against other people. That would seem a little bit sad. I think this is the one. My cold might cut this off. Radio science brain, imagination. This is the mind is made, mind contain a contagious ambling amber dial grade instrument I play. Imagination might contain radio science brain. You are more than a brain, you're its elation. You are an opening Are the dream awake? You are the radiation of love's imagination. Every brain to all brains, like come came today. Pretend that came can come, pretend that come just came to play. Radio science brain, beway. We can wake wax from wane. The gain is your brain's elation. Perpendicular trains in creation. How may they liaise and not crash and fold like decks of cards can be whole? Held and scold without scalding or folding corners or thus being stirred. What is that word I heard? What is the harmony or the polyphony? The dissonances have a mental entity. Or maybe it's the codec I need yet to learn. I'll learn it on earthly world. Earth to curve and learn. This burnishing brain pattern. Be named, be waved, today be waved. Make your brain wake not in vain. Minding, I made minding. Lemonade from genuine sentience. No way I was built here on these engines. I am one human proclaiming mind intention. I did not know I'd say it, but I play it and arrange lit nip and it kisses. I undrip, drip down, undrip ifs, and the ifs are riffing. The ifs are riffs. I if, the ifs I riff. If I if riffs, I can seal and re-sew it. I know this is complicated, but I did and I will do it. Radio science brain from the third eye, I kind of missed hate with my kiss, but I'll invite the therapy hate would miss, just because I'm not always ready to hug people bearing daggers. Be warm, somehow invite love in from the storm. Arrange new norms where love can newly form. We're in the midst of hokum, to be sure. In fact, here at the Mystery Font, it's kind of getting thicker all the time. And it was thick here before. I think now more of us can see it
readily, like all of the time even, or we know it's there. In physical form, that there are walls and mazes created by apertures and walls and lack of communication, no longer merely by falsehood, but now by grave and intentional withholding and corruption. We have coup, we have mass grand larceny, we have begun to watch the end. Or the new Colossus be woke. What if we don't allow ourselves to be separated from our calibration? What if we stand up against Stephen Miller's campaign of Nazi terror, of misogynistic enslavement? What if we are antidote by who we are? What if we recognize that Stephen Miller is projecting on immigrants being child murderers when Stephen Miller is the child murderer we're after? Just like Nancy Mace projects onto vague bosom buddy-like people who don't exist to target trans women. We have a problem with Kremlins and these Russia-linked, homegrown, domestic, white, patriarchal terrorists are a threat to all human life and to our ability to steward our place in the habitat that we will be able to continue to promise future generations can stay here and enjoy what is an incredible bounty and gift that we shouldn't throw away. Even if we meant to leave, every single human meant to leave this place, this shouldn't be a garbage can that just becomes in a way. What's the point? What is this all about? It's a pure miracle to be alive in this incredible creation of existence. And greed and an addiction to punishment is the only thing keeping us from establishing universal basic income and beginning to disassemble private prisons and find healthy ways to help people who need help, and healthy ways to help people who need accountability have accountability and growth and healing. Our addiction to punishment is showing up all over the country in truly insane Dark Ages laws being proposed. Practices that are anti-human, that are truly anti-Christ. Targeting people with disabilities, people on the spectrum, targeting women, targeting BIPOC people, targeting indigenous people. Eugenics. Transgenocide unfolding from a seemingly gleeful lynch mob that has taken over the Republican Party. my cold is a little much, so I think I'm going to just play a recording of 6 the Feet of Separation here. He didn't mean to cause a panic after all. Stephen Miller and Trump saw an opportunity in COVID. And so Stephen Miller advised Trump just to kind of move a little slow, champ. Let's not say a thing. If we don't say a thing here for a bit, then there will be hundreds of millions of exposures. And millions will become sick. And many will die, said Stephen Miller in some language. And as I, Stephen Miller, am in charge of these ramshackle chain link cage detention centers that I'm making into squalor, where kids don't have toothpaste, let alone a bed. Let's let COVID just dose as a bioweapon here in America for a while. Because it'll kill all kinds of people. And when it comes to the detention centers, it will be devastating. And I'll get good in this trial run, see how many people I can forget how to reconnect. Let's see how far we can go this time, he said. This is just the first step, he said. Stephen Miller told Trump, and Trump agreed. And so they waited 6 weeks. They waited 6 weeks. They were told it would be deadly, and they waited 6 weeks. Because why would you warn people that you were inviting them into a space that would kill them, or could, or would make them spread something that could kill their family? Why would you do that unless you wanted to kill people? Why would you fail to tell people for at least 6 weeks that COVID was totally under control, that it wasn't a problem? Why would you do that? Why to hold onto the ability to create a panic when you wanted, and to have sown seeds of that very well by infecting people with a deadly disease, a deadly virus? They canceled the pandemic team, and then when the pandemic that was expected to emerge in the next few years came, they chose to downplay it while they knew what kind of havoc it could potentially have. It was a plan. We all know that, right? We all know that, right? We all know, don't we? We all know that Stephen Miller and Donald Trump intentionally dosed America with COVID, don't we? Saying mishandling that's abused party talk. That's victim talk. Nothing wrong with someone who has been abused or a victim, but I'm saying we are doing emotional labor for Stephen Miller and Donald Trump. That's theirs to have done, but we're kind of carrying and burying our own body here. They intentionally dosed us with COVID-19 for 6 weeks. That's how Stephen Miller and Donald Trump killed 1.2 million people with COVID alone.
The feet of separation.
6 feet of separation. 6 degrees of separation. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. 6 feet of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. You didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. You didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic. He didn't mean to cause a panic, yet 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. The Nazis lost in World War II. As Allied radar read their crew, and what we knew was probably due. The great American wall builder said, I know what to do. I can use you. Just let it through. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Yet 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation.
a guardian, to guard a tree and leave a stone. I don't perceive a guardian to guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian to guard a tree and leave a stump. That's not what I call guardian. You embody a jewel trump. You're a real card, your father's son. You're a real card, your father's suit. You're a real card, your father's suit. It's not the thing you swear upon. It's what your heart was. It's what your heart was. It's what your heart will not abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's how your word becomes action. It's that your words an honest one. How long must you menace us? You do doubt the new Colossus. You're a real card. You're a real card. You're a real card. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. You're the renovation. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against pain. Imagination. Parallel against pain. Parallel against pain. Radio science brain. We are the renovation. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against pain. Parallel against pain. Of this old occupation. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against pain. Parallel against pain. Parallel against pain. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against pain. We are more near the break. We can ease any ache. Everything we have took, everything we can take. Sixth feet of separation. Sixth fear of separation. We are the renovation. Perpendicular trains, parallel against pain, parallel against pain. Of this old occupation. Perpendicular trains, parallel against pain, parallel against pain. Perpendicular trains, parallel against pain. We are more near the break. We can ease any ache. Everything we have took, everything we can take. Sixth feet of separation. Sixth fear of separation. We are the reality distortion field. The falsehood will demonize your sensitivity. The falsehood will claim the presence of our enemy. Cry fake news, then preempt remedy. Suggests false identity. We are the reality distortion field. are the reality distortion field. We are the reality distortion field. The false soak down intuition rolls in. are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will demonize your sensitivity. The falsehood will claim the press is our enemy. To cry fake news that preempt remedies suggests false identity. We are the reality distortion feeling. We are the reality distortion fielding. The field is real and the real's real. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual actually. We are the reality distortion feeling. We are the reality distortion feeling. We are the reality distortion feeling. The falsehood will groom you not to question, just believe. The falsehood can rob you of the choice you once perceived. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will tell you it's the one and only. The falsehood will tell you it's the one and only. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will sow down intuition knows things. We are the reality distortion field.